Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore, where we now find out our first player advancing on through from the open brackets to the group stage. It's either going to be Avenge or Squirtle, so we have more PvP action on the way for you, and I kind of figured that the brackets would end up going something like this. These two players, between San as well, very, very strong Protoss representatives here for this group, I would say.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit zoned out. I was just reading Team Liquid, and this guy wrote Squirtle, Brex, Feast. And I don't know why I kept reading breakfast in my head, because Brex, Feast.
I can see that, I can see that.
So I was like, probably a lot of jokes could be made out of this. But anyway, Squirtle, he just beat Feast. Avenge was able to watch those games, and he's going to be able to know exactly how Squirtle kind of likes to play. That doesn't mean that Squirtle is going to go for the same thing. I'm pretty sure he's going to change up his builds here. Avenge, just like Feast and Squirtle, he's a very aggressive player, and I think in PvP it's going to be no different. I mentioned this before, Feast versus Squirtle. I did not think either of these guys was going to go for a quick expansion before at least the mid game, and I think this is going to be no different in Avenge versus Squirtle.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have already proved their formidability in terms of PvP, as we see Avenge has already taken out San 2-0 in that first round, and obviously Squirtle advancing through, defeating Feast 2-0 as well. So now we have a clash to find out who advances on. And I can't call this either way, I'll be honest with you. I think that either player could really take this. Very, very, very strong in terms of their representation.
You think either player is could take this? That's a great prediction. I think No Terran is gonna win this group.
Oh, really? I would have never guessed either. No, either player can take it in terms of like it could go either way.
Yeah.
So, but incredible miracle
Squirtle's
here.
not impressed.
No, he's seemingly not. He's a bit tired. I think everyone's a bit tired in terms of jet lag and what have you here on the first day, but that's what first days are for, getting through and seeing if they can advance on.
You know, whoever loses here is going to have a really tough match as last match to try and qualify for the group stage.
Yeah.
So it's very important to win. So they really need to give everything that they've got now. And I mean, having casted the PvP that just took place before this, in which Squirtle beat Feast 2-0, and knowing that...
See? Told you, man.
knowing that Avenge was able to watch that, I feel it's so interesting for us to get a look firsthand as to what those players think it's best to do in the first game here, or even in the series overall. Because we know everything that they know pretty much. Well, maybe not that much, but as far as game strategies go for the previous series, so we'll see.
All right, well, first map will be Frost here for our first game. Always nice to open things up on a very, very large map. It makes it a little less likely for the proxy craziness to go on. But now loading up into game number 1, as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner, our red Protoss representing Startail. He is Avenge. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss representing Incredible Miracle. He is Squirtle.
That guy over here, Squirtle.
Squirtle.
And a Squirtle on this map versus Feast, he went for a pretty nice build. When I saw it, I immediately thought, well, you know what, I should definitely try this on ladder, because on the 4-players map, nobody would expect it. He made a Stargate kind of in the middle of the map, not in the range of the watchtowers, but in a position where it will get very quickly to his opponent's base, except maybe 1 time out of 3.
Okay.
And it basically reached Feast's base when he had no idea this could come this early, and he was across the map. So it did a ton of damage, killing like 11 probes. How do you recover from this? You really can't, unless your name is Squirtle. So Feast, from there, he was just too far behind. He wasn't able to come back. Now that's a very strong build, but Avenge, having seen it, I really feel like it's really unlikely we're going to see it again here out of Squirtle in this map.
It's the night end probability build, where you just kind of go to the other side.
What?
And, dude, he did it in like DreamHack. Do you not remember?
The night end probability?
Yeah, it's like you go over the other side of the map on a 4-player map. You put the Stargate in between the 2 places, and if it's not at the 2 that are closest to you, where you placed it, then meh. You flipped your coin and you're done. The night end probability build.
Wow.
But it's happened, and seemingly Squirtle likes to employ that as well.
I can't believe Night End got his own probability named after him.
Dude, I've just called
Totally
it that
does
now.
not deserve
like,
that. I'm just kidding.
Oh. Anyways, what do we have going on? We have all the gateways going down. 2 guys in each gas for both players. Although Squirtle's just thrown straight into 3 in each of these now.
Yeah, both players now.
Ah, both players. Okay.
But a little bit of an earlier cybernetic score here by Squirtle, whereas Avenge opted to make one more probe just a little bit earlier. Avenge is saving 1 chrono boost, which you don't see many protos do at this point in the game. The 3 minutes chrono boost almost always used on on Nexus nowadays. And third Pylon is going to go down behind his mineral line. No scouts just yet from either of those players. Okay, Squirtle cancels the Zealot he was getting. This is a bit weird here.
Yeah.
Usually if you cancel Zealot, it's for Nexus, but now he did not go for it.
I just threw down the extra pylon on the vision.
Sentry plus Mothership Core for both players. Could we see an expansion here? I like how I predicted neither of them is going to take a quick expansion. Like they both go for it.
Go for it. I would like that. I mean, I would like to see some of the longer PvPs here, because PvPs have been going pretty rapidly. Well, with earlier game situations at least. Some of the ship cores do head out to do a little bit of scouting.
Nexus will go down for both players. Well, so much for that analysis, Todd.
Nice one.
Good
nice
job.
One. Good job, man.
Good job.
Day 1, don't worry about it. Well, Nexus is on the way, and Nexus is there as well. Neither player's bothered scouting over the other side of the map. They're just basically saying, this is Frost. My opponent is probably not doing something majorly aggressive, and mirroring each other in turn. Wow.
And you know, if Squirtle had gone for the same build that he did in the previous game, you know how much damage he would have done now?
Yeah, quite
There will be 2 sentries able to shoot at him. And he will be killing probes left and right and basically get an auto win in the first game. But Avenged, he thought that was not going to be possible, and he was right. But behind his Squirtle still goes for the Stargate. Both players going for the Stargate here. I really like this choice because Stargate, it's a much more viable choice nowadays versus Dark Templars than it used to be. Against Blink as well. You can keep your opponent, you can take him hostage by having an Oracle across the map and not allowing him to leave his base, at least with a few of his stalkers, just by having the permanent threat of an Oracle flying in.
All right, well, we also saw Squirtle there down to the bottom right, making sure that he could move his probe in the direct location to find out where his opponent is after seeing his opponent's probe move down there. But that was a little while ago now. Is this hallucinated oracle's going to fly on in? You like hallucinated oracles, I know.
Yeah. I remember how much I talked about it.
It's here. It's here to stay.
Season 1. It's still in my heart.
Yeah, I know, man. Well, he saw 2 gateways, but really, other than that, he just knows that his opponent's doing pretty much the same as he is. Did he get to the back of the mineral line to see that Stargate? I don't think he did, actually. Well, no. So he doesn't know fully about the Stargate. That could come back to bite him if both players... If he's going like Void Rays and there's just Phoenix out to like deal with that. Or anything, and then he doesn't know about the Stargate.
Yeah, now he knows.
Oh, okay. He saw it. Yeah.
This forced the Photon Overcharge 2 kills on the 1 Oracle, which is going to bring Avenge down to 31 probes against 33 for Squirtle, and behind is a Void Ray for Avenge. So I think we could have. I think we're gonna have some kind of all-in. If he has gateways now, okay.
Oh,
as I say that, he gets the Twilight Council.
As a second Stargate, this is gonna be great. Well, maybe great. I do love a lot of like air toss versus normally air toss, but seeing as we have the Twilight Council going down now, how does this work out in terms of what Avenge is doing? If he just goes straight for Blink, like against this?
I mean, not even if he goes to Templars. No,
right,
imagine like. Squirtle will do really bad against that, but I thought for a second this might be a Void Ray all-in by Avenge, but maybe he changed his mind, maybe it was never the case, but getting 1 Void Ray here is really weird. And since he wasn't taking the gases on his expansion, I thought he was going to be adding gateways, but no. He went for the gases, and he throws down the Dark Shrine.
Wow.
I think he realizes that his opponent doesn't have a Robo, but this is going to be spotted. Squirtle, oh my god, doing such great work with his Oracle. Oh wow, he actually revealed the Dark Shrine, which you can't see on the building because it's still building.
Well, I guess if you revelate everything around it, it keeps an eye on if he cancels the Dark Shrine or not, right?
Exactly, wow. You have such good analysis, Skylaris.
Are you like trolling me this time?
No, I was just thinking about it. I was thinking like, did he just say something like really good? And I was like, yeah, he did.
Thanks, Tom. Well, so yeah, he's going to be able to keep an eye on that. I'll accentuate that a little bit. And whoa, Revelation actually went down on these Phoenix, so he's going to be able to keep an eye on where they go for a while. With the Photon Overcharge, also killing one as well.
You're
so
not welcome here.
Yeah, he's actually keeping those numbers down quite nicely. And we've seen Squirtle now deviate from that, realizing that maybe double Phoenix production isn't the best bet.
You think cancel the Dark Shrine or not? Because he saw there was a Robo now being made too.
I think he should. I think he should. I don't think it's going to do much.
Like, he would have done it already and done for the Templar Archive. And that's weird because, I mean, as much as you can spend less gas on Archons now, DTs are going to be useless, obviously. You should know about it. And it's going to cost him a lot of money to get Archons. So he might not go for a timing. Just take a third from there. Keep on making walkers, chrono boost out his upgrades. He's getting cannons in mineral lines, which I like because he's up against targets. There could be an Oracle flying in at any time, man. The permanent threat is always there.
Yeah.
Giving me nightmares at night.
You don't like it. But you do like Oracles half the time, so...
Yeah, I mean, when I'm playing against them. I like them when they're on my side.
Yeah, but not the other way around. No, I get that, I get that. They're a tough thing to deal with sometimes. Whoop, tries to blink forwards to kill that Phoenix off, but doesn't get it in the end. And just in general, I think this game is probably going to go on for quite a lot longer. Neither player is going to be too eager to push into one another, but Charge for Avenge is quite a nice tool to actually be aggressive himself.
And Robo-Bay by Squirtle here, so if he goes for Colossus, which he will every time that he gets Robo-Bay at this point, he could do very well against a composition with only Zealots, Archons, and Immortals, as long as he does not mess up. We saw Fist throw away a huge lead previously versus Squirtle. Will Avenge do the same? I have to say, Squirtle is very impressive how much supply he has. Like, you're not particularly supposed to be ahead of supply of your opponent at this time, but I guess Avenge, he added his gateways a little bit late, and he took a much quicker third than his opponent. So this might be why. Yeah,
and then once that third gets up and running, he can kind of even those odds up and take the advantage himself in terms of that. So he should be all right. Because again, I don't see anywhere that Squirtle could really break him right now. Warping in a few High Templars there as well for the Archons. So I think, yeah, Avenge is going to stabilize really, really nicely.
I'm surprised that Avenge is taking that third, by the way.
Yeah?
Definitely expecting to take the other one, just like Squirtle's doing, but not so much difference, I guess you could say. And Squirtle is getting charged now, which is obviously he's going to need that, but he hasn't started Thermal Lance yet. He's only getting one Colossus now. This is a bit weird, and also I feel like he's not doing the best job of chrono boosting his upgrades out. Like, he's just now finishing +1, whereas Avenger has had his finish for a while and he hasn't started +2. So maybe both players here are a little bit nervous of some kind of engagement that could happen. And Squirtle actually pushes across the map, which I guess is an okay choice because he has a bunch of sentries to force field. There is Archons, which he should be aware of, but now at least he scared his opponent for some time.
I think also the fact that he still has his Oracle alive at the back of the mineral line, it means that if he, moves his opponent's army out of position, then he could try and dive in and do some damage as well, because it's got full energy. So there is always that threat still lingering here for Avenge.
Hello, probes.
Oh, hi. Well, he gets 2 and Revelations and runs away.
Nice reflex, by the way.
Yeah.
That would have been a dead Oracle for me and no Revelation used.
No? Even with the speed buff?
If you're not looking at it, the speed is not going to help.
That's true.
This is what I meant. And I like this counter attack by Avenge with his Stalkers. I talked about it already in Fist vs Squirtle. The Stalkers in late game, they are not that useful. So if you can basically sack them, let them die, and trade them against probes, it's going to be a nice move. He's trying to get a snipe on the Robo.
It's ambitious, very ambitious.
He's not going to get
pickups. And yeah, that's not going to go down as he has to run away and consolidate his losses. But going to third base, but he sees it all. He sees it with Revelation, so he can't really attack.
And Avenge is now getting a fleet beacon, so he wants to go for a Tempest with this, but Squirtle, he only has 3 Colossi. He's getting a 4th one. If he does not commit any more to Colossi, I think he's going to be in a great position. Because economy-wise, he's well saturated on 3 bases. Even though he has a few less probes than his opponent, I think he saturated the gases a little bit earlier than his opponent. So now, he doesn't even have just a slight walker lead. He also has a better composition, I feel. And if he only adds Zealots and Archons to his composition from now, this timing that he's going for right now, he's going to be unstoppable by Avenge.
Yeah, this is a cool little build that we're seeing here from him, but at the same time, whoa, Squirtle's getting a bit aggressive himself, pushing across the map.
Wow,
And
those immortals, man.
yeah, picking those up is fantastic. Actually getting the kills on those with the Void Rays as well, and just everything killing those off. That's a lot of power that has been alleviated here from the threat that Squirtle has hold.
One Tempest has been made now, and the +2 of Squirtle just finished. Avenge is still 20 seconds away, and during those 20 seconds, Squirtle is going to attack.
Those 3 Archons move into perfect position here for Squirtle to tank up a lot of this damage, whilst the Colossi from the back here doing a lot as well. Squirtle, Avenge trying to warp in some Zealots in the thick of things, but it didn't mess with the Colossi damage at all, so they just keep on powering through. And there you go, Squirtle takes game number 1. GG. Very strong attack by him.
In the thick of things.
In the thick of things. Yeah. All right, Todd.
I'm just asking, like, I never heard that one before.
No? I don't know how we seem to manage this.
Would you explain this expression?
In the thick of it, like in the thick of things, like when a lot's going on in some, like in between something that's.
I thought thick is the opposite of thin.
Right.
Yeah. So how does that apply to things?
Because the. I mean,
You're
it's just
a terrible teacher.
It's just a phrase, man. I never really thought of the where it derived from. Okay. It's always nice to cast alongside you, Todd. Derived? No, please.
It's okay. I know it's because we have dérivé in French.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad that they're so similar. That solves a lot of my problems.
Not all of them, though.
No, I know. All right, so guys, moving on to game number 2 here in just a second. Squirtle currently looking pretty strong here in this bracket. I won't be surprised if he does go all the way, but Avenge still has the chops. He has the ability to make it further.
He has the chops, I bet.
He has the chops, man. What could you attribute Avenge's kind of loss there to? What was the real glaring error there for you?
I mean, sometimes it really feels like going for Charge Lot, Archon, and Immortal is much stronger than going for Colossi. But some games like this, Squirtle makes Colossi looking like the much more viable choice. And I probably attribute the loss of Avenge to this. It's one of those mystery games that we just had now where Colossus is going to just look stronger in general than Zealot, Archon, Immortal by far, and we don't really know why. There has to be moves made in the game, and now they weren't made, maybe that's why. But no Protoss is really sure of what exactly they are. In Feast's case before, I really feel like I said you fall behind more and more over time if you're facing Colossus and you don't have Colossus.
Yeah.
So in Feast's case, he went for a War Prism drop in the main. With which he warped in a lot of Zealots to basically, because his army is better in small fights and all that, and he had charged before his opponent, it worked out quite well. He did a ton of damage. I think if Avenge had done the same thing, then it could have been good. Sorry, that was very long.
That's fine, man. That's fine. I'm listening. And the thing is that I think it's a very good point that you make that, like, oh, well, hold the phone here as, well, we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner. It's Avenge. It's that guy.
And spawning down also to the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's cutting quick. Avenge. Ooh, are they going to miss?
Oh!
Wow.
Oh my god!
And I think this is the 11, 12, 12, 12. You get your first gate at 11, and then you take gas at 12, gate 12, and cybernetic score at 12. If you do this versus a cannon rush or a proxy gateway build, you're going to auto-win almost every time because you're getting stalkers across the map.
He's going to spot the fact that something's going on so early.
And this is very smart by Avenge here. I was wondering why is he scouting at this time, but if you scout at the time he's scouting at right now, you're going to know if you're facing a cannon rush, a proxy. Oh wow, he's trying to double gas steal.
Steal both. He's not going to get it. Oh.
Yeah, he realized.
Yeah.
He realized there was too few probes here for it to be what he had hoped it to be.
Now, quick question. If he'd have got both gases there and you had this gateway still here, I guess you do just try and send Zealots in, but you said that a lot of the power that was behind that was the, the Stalkers that you wouldn't have gas for. Can it still work with just Zealots alone?
Yeah, and
it's a bit weird, right?
I mean, if Avenge took the double gas, then you wouldn't have enough money to really support lots of Zealots plus second pylon back at home and all that. But I mean, never ever would Avenge here be able to steal 2 guys because they are so far apart.
That was his attempt, though.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I think, no, maybe he wanted to just take 1. And then, I really don't know. We would have to ask him, but this feels weird. Like, you would have to hope for like the biggest brain farts of your opponent's life ever to be able to pull this off. And now the 1 Zealot is going to be made while the Cybernetics core completes. And then double Stalker will be chrono boosted out. It's very important to get that pylon up the ramp, but you're not supposed to throw it down this early. You know why? Because your opponent is going to pull probes against this. And if he gets up to the ramp, then you cannot see up the ramp.
Yeah.
But if you have a pylon up the ramp, you can see up the ramp. So you're going to be able to kite those probes and Zealots endlessly with your Stalkers. But Squirtle, his execution has not been good, I think. You see now?
Yeah.
He made the pylon too early, and so because of that, he didn't have the money for the second Stalker that he needs to make. He's actually fighting against the Zealot.
And he wants to kill the pylon as well.
And he gets it.
Oh, very nicely done. And now the probes have to retreat out of there as well. That Zealot has a little bit of time to...
There is no way this is going to work now. Double gateway by Avenge, chrono boosting out his own Stalkers. He knows he shouldn't be making Warp Gate. I think he's going to hold quite comfortably. Almost as comfortably as MC did versus me at Home Story Cup when I tried this.
Yeah.
Which was very comfortably.
Very comfortably. Okay, well, Avenge, yeah, he's reading this really well. Considering how this game even started out with his early scout and, you know, trying to steal gases, etc. But has to be careful with this micro, though. Has to be very careful. Probes come off the line. That buffers a lot. And does quite a bit of damage to that second Stalker.
Avenge actually took a ton of damage on one of his Stalkers, but I mean, it shouldn't matter. He's going to go up to 4 Stalkers now.
Yeah.
And he has a much better economy with the 15 probes to 12. Believe it or not, this is the biggest of deals, and I think he's just going to hold from there and Squirtle. You don't have a transition out of this.
Good control still, though, by Squirtle during all of this, as he tries to even up the numbers, and hell, he actually gets even another one as well. Wow, very, very nice control by Squirtle.
That Stalker fight was so funny.
Yeah.
It's like they had the same two Stalkers, both of them were like, well, I guess I'm dead. I might as well fight until I die. And Squirtle somehow has kind of made this work a little bit. It's not over just yet. I do think that Avenge is still supposed to hold at this point, but Squirtle with some nice micro and Avenge being a little bit overeager, he's going to try to go first round with the probes, but the Stalkers of Squirtle have such nice control. They get the snipe on the Stalkers.
Very, very nicely done here. He doesn't have 4 Stalkers, so he isn't able to one-shot these probes and needs to be very, very careful in this narrow choke point that they've created from those probes. The Stalker at the back still helping, but whilst all this is going on, he's losing mining. He's not mining anything. Squirtle's trying to reinforce with Stalkers, so he has to be very, very careful. Another good surround there by Avenge.
Wow, I cannot believe this has gone this way. And one more Stalker underway here by Avenge. There is still 1 Stalker with very low hit points and a full hit points one by Squirtle here. He's getting 2 extra Stalkers. I cannot believe this.
Exactly.
Squirtle's gonna pull this off. Avenge doesn't have any money behind this and no Warp Gate either.
Not mining during all of that was catastrophic for him. He needs to somehow buy some time here whilst all of this goes on. And, well, he's chrono boosting out a few units where he can.
Cannot believe that Squirtle might make this work here.
It was so close.
I would have left 7 minutes ago.
Imagine if those 3 Stalkers had got pinned up against that wall on the left-hand side by those probes.
Yeah.
It was so close. But, now he has 4 Stalkers, and that's the magic number if he wants to start one-shotting the probes. If he gets close to them, he just needs to deal with the Stalkers first to make this his game.
Yeah, and Squirtle with 4 Stalkers against 2 now, he's going to get the victory, and I think he has to be surprised here. I really think he probably went, you know, that attack in which he traded very well in? He was going for it, basically thinking the same thing any Protoss would have been thinking here.
Yeah.
This is going to work in the next 10 seconds, or I'm going to leave. Yeah. And it worked somehow. I really feel like Avenge here, he didn't have to engage into Squirtle like he did by the ramp. You know, he could have just waited behind his 2 gateways and be reinforcing faster than his opponent. 1 Stalker difference, this is all it takes. 1 misstep, 1 misclick, you lose instantly. And this is kind of what happened here with Avenge. He didn't micro as well as he could have. He overextended a little bit too far, and because of that, can you say he got sanctioned?
Sanctioned?
Yeah, like punish. How do you say punish? Like, what's a good word for punish? Because in French, it's sanctionné, so sometimes I just basically go for these words in English, hoping it's going to work.
I want to say some of my standard go-to words,
okay,
but I don't want
go
to
ahead.
at the same time.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to do it. I was
Decimated?
about to say decimated, man.
No, this is not like punish.
No, I know it's not. But I was going to do it anyway for your giggles. Anyway, so guys, that means Squirtle advances on to the group stage tomorrow. And that means Avenge will fall down to the lower bracket in our first brackets to see if he can advance on. He will be playing the winner of whatever is going on down there. I wonder if I can actually get a quick update on that.
I got a few one. Penalized.
He got penalized.
Chastened. You know this word, chastened?
I do not know that
Grounded.
word. You've actually pulled up a thesaurus mid-cast.
Well, it's interesting, man.
No, I know. It's good. All right. Anyway, let's give you a little bit of an update. There's no more updates. All right. So we're waiting for Feast versus San, and we're waiting versus Nesty
Yeah,
versus
Targa
Targa.
won against Pig.
Targa won
Didn't know
against
that.
Pig. That is an update. So one of these 4 players basically will be playing against Avenge to see who advances on to the group stages as well. So, any last words from Mr. Thesaurus Todd? Yeah? No?
Spanked was also a word that could have been
Spanked.
used.
Guys, he got spanked. We'll have some more StarCraft 2 action here from the Intel Extreme Masters Singapore in just a little bit.